Ready.
Welcome to Gamma Blurs. It's me, it's Rick, and it's finally happened. I finally got sick of this shit and I fired the other two and brought in someone else. That's why we were gone for a week. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, my name is Lillian. I'm usually behind the scenes, but today I am in front of the camera. That's all I got. That's it. If you wanted me to, okay, better introduction. Hi, I'm Lillian. Watashi wa Lillian desu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Nice to meet y'all. I've known Rick and Trey for a few years now, and I am also a nerd, but maybe just in a different, just a different variety, just a different flavor. And since Trey and Herb were unanimously fired, so sad. I'm here instead.
Yeah, pretty much. So
I'm lying, by the way. They weren't fired.
Yeah, no, we didn't fire them. They just got other shit to do.
They have a life.
Right. So me and Lillian are gonna hold down for this week. Yeah, last week we took a week off because it was Mania week and we wanted to watch Mania instead of doing the show, so that's what we did. But this week we are back and we got a handful of topics that me and Lillian are gonna try to break down. Basically you guys are about to get a peek behind the curtain and see conversations that we have that you guys don't have, so it may get a little wordy, a little long-ended, but whatever, doesn't matter.
We got notes.
Right. So this week we're going to start off with, what are we starting off with, Lillian?
JD's Vance's Tour of Death. We're going to be talking about that. We got the Strategist Strike on Rivals. Andor Season 2 started. Thunderbolts is coming out this weekend. Last of Us Season 2 just started. And lastly, because y'all have had a week to catch up, Sinners. We're going to be talking about Sinners last.
We are going to go into depth about Sinners. We're going to do some spoilers. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie yet,
just tune out for that part of the conversation. Just tune out.
Just don't check that last part of the conversation.
Exactly.
All right. So
JD Vance's Tour of Death.
Yeah, our beloved assistant to the vice president, and he's touring around the world. And well, there were two things of note to mention about that. The first one is JD Vance happened to meet with the Pope the day before he died.
Hours before that man died. Kick the bucket.
Yeah, like that's absolutely insane. But then also, what he went to India, and what a day after he left India, there was a mass pew-pewing of sorts, or basically it was a mass shooting in India after he left. And so with JD Vance moving around the world and these incidents happening, these terrible things happening, you begin to kind of think certain things about our baby man, assistant to the vice president, and it's that he is he deaf?
Is he the fourth horseman?
Right. You know what I mean? Or is he all four horsemen wrapped into one?
No, they're all different people. Silly.
Yeah. Sure. And apparently, according to meme culture, so is JD Vance.
Clearly, clearly,
Right,
that's who slept with the sofas over the years. It wasn't JD Vance proper. It was JD Vance. His freak sona. His freak sona.
Right. It was the dirty hippie version, or the rancid homeless man version, or even the ugly little kid version that I've seen of him. But
bless his heart.
It is unfortunate that. Well, no, it's not unfortunate because he's a piece of shit, and he went from someone who once called the now sitting president a dictator and a horrible person to now he's become like his A1 bootlicker. And it's, the universe has a way of balancing itself out. And when you try to go back on things where you sell your soul for a couple pieces of silver, things tend to kick up in your face. And I feel like this is one of those things that's happening to JD Vance. Like a lot of the nonsense and blowback that he's catching is because of him basically being a spineless human being. But what do you think, Lily?
I think the universe should do more. Right now, he's facing like some minor blowback. He doesn't feel it yet. He just knows that the internet's talking shit about him for like the 50th time. More. I want more. I want him to feel the flames on his heels. That's what I want.
No, yeah, I
I'm a
completely
little bit
agree with you.
chaotic.
I mean, listen, at this point, this is the only way to fight fire is with more fire, or excuse me, with napalm.
I just want,
Like,
a well placed silver bullet. That's all I want.
and we are not advocating. We are speaking
I said a
hypothetically. We're
silver
speaking
bullet
we're speaking philosophically. No, we're not advocating for the euthanizing of the assistant to the vice president.
for joke purposes or for legal reasons. That was a joke.
yeah, the
It's absolutely a joke.
It was definitely a
But
joke.
no, I mean it's frustrating because of who I mean this administration, and it's constantly it's been something since they were sworn into office. It's something every day, and it harkens back to the first Trump term, where it was constant buffoonery and constant clown shit, and it's like it's they've ramped it up even more. Like there's more of a blitzkrieg on the American people, and it's it is hard to want to be a patriotic American. It's hard to it's almost embarrassing to let someone from a different country know that you're an American at this point with the constant nonsense and malarkey and bullshit that's going on. Like our the director of the Health and Human Services is an avid anti-vaxxer
Oh, you're talking
who
about
thinks,
is that RFK Jr.?
yes,
Robert would be
God,
so disappointed.
I'm pretty
Bobby
pretty
would be
sure
so disappointed.
I'm pretty sure the whole family is disappointed.
Like
I'm pretty sure they
Jackie,
they
I'm glad she's in her grave because we'll be witnessing her turn over and it'll be crazy.
yeah, they all
have to feel some type of way about him and his actions. But I mean, like he thinks that autism, like they're talking about opening up autism camps. You know what I
And
mean? Like
autism
it's
registry in
right.
camps.
It,
Sanatoriums are
it's
coming back. That's crazy.
it's
absolutely insane. But also, again, this is why I wish people would be more into history and reading and understand facts, because like I keep saying, and I'm gonna keep saying it until people start listening. We are fast tracking the fascism playbook, y'all. Like this is 1930s Germany right now.
We are
Like
literally 19, what, 33 Germany at this very moment in time. It's
yeah,
and
crazy.
you're gonna look up and it's gonna be 1939, and it's like, oh no, how did we get here? And it's because people have kept silent. It's because people have just everybody's very very docile at this point and just letting it go past, and that's the unfortunate, shameful part of it.
It's like, okay, so I remember, I don't know who wrote this poem or what year it came from or whatever, but it's this poem where it's like they came for these people, but we didn't say anything and they took those people. Then they came for these people, then they took those people and we didn't say anything. And then they came for us and there was no one left
hmm
to fight with us.
hmm it's all right there for
For
you.
you, it's laid out in front of you.
Welcome to
There.
2025.
Um, and checking out the comments, actually, Cam says it's only been 3 months. Yeah, and this 3 months has been the longest 3 years of my life. Like
Listen,
it legitimately feels like it has been 3 years, and it is fucking exhausting. Like I wonder why I'm always so tired, or why I can sleep at the drop of a hat. And it's because I'm constantly getting blitzkrieged with nonsense. You know what I mean? Like we all have everybody's bills are completely out of whack. You know what I mean? Just daily costs. I saw a Instagram reel from Tony Stoyaku, Tony Stoya.
Whatever. I'm
who's
pretty
who's
sure
this
Most
Tony
people going.
character?
it's Tony.
He's an Instagrammer. He makes a lot of funny skits, but he made a skit basically talking about, what I mean, going outside. Like everybody's becoming an introvert because now at this point, going outside, as soon as you step outside, they charge you $40 as a leave the house fee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or when you go to a restaurant and they charge you $150 extra on top of your food for a digestion fee. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
it feels like.
Where Pepco
And
carries like $120 delivery fee.
Ooh,
mm, that's that
That's
cut
that
me deep in
that
my core.
yeah. I
Like
got the
I
same bill. Shit's
My
crazy.
My usage was $60, and I got a $120 delivery fee. I was
Delivery
like, I
fee.
ain't seen nobody in a fucking Pepco uniform dropping
Unless they
shit
were
off
laying
here.
the new cables. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I just
Right.
give me my money back.
You're
You're stealing.
you are a fibber, and I don't trust you. So yeah, and I mean, but again, all of that contributes to everyone just being exhausted and constantly being tired and just feeling overwhelmed. And it's again like you beat the people down so that they allow you to continue to just run rampant and to do these fascist actions. And I mean, and that's what we're dealing with, y'all. And it's just everybody just stay vigilant.
Yes,
and
Mom.
try to fight back. So, but anyway,
Sorry,
moving
y'all.
on
My
past
mom was
that.
talking to me. Sorry.
Listen, it's fine. Listen, moms come first. But anyway, moving on to
Moving
our
on.
second topic, because it's less depressing.
Yeah.
Andor,
I mean, sort of.
and yeah, sort. Well, shit. Actually, we're moving from one
From the
fascist
frying
show-
pan into the fire. That's what we're doing. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
right,
More
right.
accurate. More accurate.
moving from actual fascism to science fiction
Space
fascism.
fascism.
All right. Andor season 2. Have you caught any of the episodes?
I have not. I did watch all of season 1, but Andor season 2 caught me by surprise, so I haven't watched it yet. Also, I'm in the middle of my finals, so media has just been.
You ain't watching nothing.
But the back of your eyelids and books. So no. So Andor season 2 kicked off. The first 3 episodes are live. It takes place a year after the end of season 1. That's where it picks up off of.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Sorry, taco's coming back. But no, it. So all of the tension, all of the angst, all of the intrigue that there was in season 1, season 2 picks right back up off of it. I mean, it puts you right in the thick of things. We find Cassian, who is now he's balls deep. Unfortunately, sorry, but he's balls deep in the revolution, in the rebellion.
Very begrudgingly, I imagine.
Yeah.
Because he really did try to escape to Costa Rica and it didn't work out.
Well, he tried
to, but now he's there. He's in it. This is the Cassian that we saw in Rogue One.
Mhm.
We see him doing some espionage type things. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. I don't want to spoil it for you. But I mean, we see him basically trying to sabotage the Empire. But then also the thing about Andor is that it gives you all sides. You know what I mean? It shows you like the real unfettered, like the unsanitized versions of a rebellion, and also with the Empire. Because we see like Cassian does something, and then he's supposed to rendezvous with another member of his sect of the rebellion, but they cross over and they meet another sect of the rebellion, and it's confusion. You know what I mean? And all they see is someone dressed up as an empire. Again, I don't want to reveal too much, but like basically the wires get crossed, and it turns into a very, very messy situation. You know what I mean? And Cassian, like he said in the movie, we've all done terrible things in the name of the rebellion. And this is where you see Cassian having to do terrible things to people who are supposed to be other members of the rebellion. You know what I mean? We get to see the Empire and them trying to basically weed out the rebellion, and them having like everybody likes to speculate about the government having these secret meetings or these secret cabals within the government that are made to try and like to destroy certain groups. I mean, like we know about how the FBI destroyed the Black Panthers and how they basically dissected them. We get to see one of those types of meetings for the Empire, and you know it's just it's a very, very strong spy show. It's a very, very strong. It's a show that if you're someone who wants to become sort of a freedom fighter, if you want to become someone that advocates for the people, you know what I mean? It's a show that you can find a lot of deep inspiration in. And it's something that I just continue to enjoy, even though I know Cassian's final
we all
fate,
watched
you know what I mean?
Rogue One. We know what the end result is.
Right, and that's another thing. I've heard some people that say they're not going to watch it because they know how it ends, but I'm like, you know, sometimes we can see the journey for even though we know what the end is. Sometimes the journey is just as fun. But how do you feel about Andor?
Okay, so this is gonna be a bit breathy. because Andor as a series is like long. It's like watching the first Star Wars movie over a period of like 8 episodes. So it has a much slower pacing, but it's still really good. I really appreciate its cinematic quality. I appreciate its plot. I appreciate Cassian's, I think that's his name, his reluctance to do anything besides survive. Because that's real. That's real. That's very real. Who wants to be
Yeah.
involved in political upheaval? Nobody with a brain. Um, but he finds himself in the thick of it. And when he finds himself in the thick of it, he, I guess, make the most of a bad situation is too strong, but he does what he thinks is most appropriate. And sometimes it saves lives, and sometimes it doesn't.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Overall, I think the plot's really good. I will be checking out Andor season 2. I'm just, finals and shit right now is preventing me from doing a lot of things.
Life is life.
Yeah, life is
Uh,
raw dong
it's very
without
good.
lube. That's what life is doing.
Jesus Christ. Uh, it's it's funny that you say like well, it's not funny, but it's interesting that you're talking about the point of no one wants to be a freedom fighter, but you kind of get thrust into that situation. You know what I mean? You
Mm,
don't want to be that person, but sometimes like the
you
universe
gotta.
has a yeah, the universe has a way of pulling you into your fate, whether even as much as you deny it, as much as you run away from it. Also, like you do things with really good intentions, but sometimes innocent people who have nothing to do with people who are just living their lives, they get hurt. And that's another beautiful thing about Andor that I've seen is, like I said, it shows you the whole spectrum for both people on the Empire side and people on the Rebellion side. And yeah, that's another thing that plays out in season 2 of this show is there are people who are cared about, people who are just regular human beings trying to live their lives, and they get caught up in the crossfire of this giant conflict that's going for the sake of trying to save all of these people. And I mean that's the thing about Andor that I find so intriguing and so captivating with the show is that it shows you that this shit is not mess. This shit is not pretty. Like like I said earlier, Star Wars is very very sanitized, but Andor is like Rogue One. The reason why people like Rogue One is because it's gritty, it's real, it's in depth. And here's a little thing about behind the scenes with Rogue One. Rogue One actually was grittier. It was actually
It
even
should have been
more like
grittier. It should have been
it was
grittier.
more of a it was more of a war story. But then Disney saw that first cut and they were just like,
That's
no.
too much for these children. Well, that's good
Yeah, can
because
you
it
put
was for the adults, damn it.
right, right.
The ones who
Um,
were here when the shit was on TV and in the movie theaters, that's who this is for. Rogue One is for them. But no, 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 the kids, the kids, the kids, please.
right.
Kids.
And to quote a great poet once before, fuck them kids. But no, it's a very very gritty show. It's a very very real show, and I mean I think that's one of the reasons why I feel like I recommend it to everyone. Like just actually actually take your take your TikTok brain off. Everything isn't going to be fast and in your face and real quick. Maybe like sit there and just watch and understand what it is that you're watching, and you might get something out of it. You know what I mean?
That's a
And
quick
and that's
aside. That's a quick
Yeah.
aside. Like, Andor, I think the biggest reason why Andor hasn't picked up the way other series did is because it has a much slower pacing, even though it's very thorough in its plot and its design and its characters and their motivations. And when it comes to things with slower pacing, a lot of people just don't have the patience to see how it unravels. And that used to be standard in movies where you had to like wait 20 minutes into the film to understand what the premise was, what their motivations were, at least early on, and then move forward from there. So it's like this lack of media exposure that really propels certain things forward and recedes other things, even though they're damn good.
Um. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I blame it on Vine, because
Don't
people watch
blame
a 6 second.
Vine.
Yeah, no, I mean people were entertained in 6 seconds, and now they think everything is supposed to entertain you in six
Oh
seconds. That's
no,
just
that's
not it.
not
Um,
Vine's fault. That's their Vine is a symptom. It's not the problem.
It is one
one
of
of the symptoms, and a part of that, a bigger part of that problem is how education. We were talking about this yesterday. How education is
Yeah.
essentially just failing us. You know what I mean? And media literacy is at an all-time low. You know what I mean? I said it before in this show, and I'm gonna say it again. The national reading average, the reading average ability in the United
It's like
States
what, a third
amongst
grade level?
adults, it's sixth grade and dropping. That means that people don't understand
Wow.
most things that they're reading or seeing, while also, you know what I mean, you're not being able to process the information that's being given to you. Are you looking up the actual number
I'm
right now?
looking up the literacy rate because now I'm curious.
Right. And so
I mean, and again, and we see that with shows like Andor falling by the wayside. What you got?
Okay, on average, 79% of US adults nationwide are literate in 2024, 21% of adults are illiterate, and 54% of adults have a literacy below the sixth grade reading level.
like I said,
Sixth grade and dropping.
Hi.
It, it's troubling. It's very very troubling, and I mean, and this is how we end up in positions where people are voting for president just based off the vibe, uh, and that's who they cast their vote behind. So it's again, we're getting off subject. We're
We
drifting into
are
other
we're
stuff.
because
So
it's this is noodle soup, honestly. Let's stay on message. You're talking about
yeah.
Andor, political intrigue. We wandered into literacy. But let's bring it back. Was there anything else you wanted to cover about Andor season 2?
No,
just so far, like I said, I don't want to give too many spoilers about the first three episodes. Episode 4 should be dropping, I believe, this Wednesday. But if you haven't given Andor a chance, just take a moment, like cut out like
Take an
maybe a half
hour.
hour or so.
Take
Yeah,
an
and
hour.
just watch a couple episodes of it. You know what I mean? It's not action packed, but there's a lot of intrigue. If you love a good spy thriller, then give it a chance.
Right.
So
Yeah,
what's our
that's
next subject?
Thunderbolts. Sebastian Stain returns to theater screens this weekend. Next weekend. Next weekend because today's Sunday.
yeah. So,
And among others.
So
But I forget their names. I'm sorry.
oh, so
I got you. So this is so Suicide Squad drops on May 2nd, I believe, Friday, May 2nd, and it
Oh, Remy
is
LeBeau said something. Hey,
oh,
Gambit.
I check I checked the comment.
man, in a system where everything works together to move sheep forward. What's the difference in the United States between the goals of the far right and the far left?
I'll tell you
Um,
one thing. I'll take a first stab at it. The difference between the far left and the far right, universal health care and literally putting people who are mentally different into sanatoriums and killing them. That's the difference that we're at right now.
Yeah.
If you don't know
essentially
what
at
a
this point,
sanatorium is, that was the insane asylum. You're
Oh,
welcome for my
that's
service.
essentially at this point, like I get where he's coming from, what he's saying, or I get what he's saying about that. But at this point, it's become the difference between Nazis and the system that we've had. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And again, I'm not someone who's a proponent of Democrats because I have a whole list of issues with the way that they've conducted
I
themselves
would
the
fight
past.
many Democrats
Yeah, yeah,
verbally.
yeah. But I mean, but again, this is the frustration with a two-party system. Like I
Hmm.
said, we're drifting into politics. we
If we go into politics, we're gonna keep running, you guys, and we're not gonna cover any of the media that
we're
happened
gonna
this
miss out a lot
week.
of shit that we had to talk about. Um, but no, so yeah, like I said, the Thunderbolts drops May 2nd, and this is
Yes.
Marvel's take on essentially. So
Yes.
from the
Tell us more.
commercials,
Tell us more.
this is Marvel's try for a Suicide Squad type situation. Even though that's not really who the Thunderbolts are, but in the comics, if you don't know, please go to your local comic book store. Comic books are a lot cheaper. Please go patronize them. But
Hey, just
yeah,
give us the skinny, my good man. Give us the skinny. What are the Thunderbolts? Who are they?
all right. So
the group of the Thunderbolts in this movie, it's led by apparently he's not supposed to be the leader, but it looks like from everything in the commercials, the leader is Bucky Barnes,
Yeah.
aka the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, yeah.
You have Elena Belova, the new Black Widow, the sister of Natasha Romanoff. We have
That's
her
who she
father,
is. Okay.
right? We have their father, Alexei Shostakov, the Red Guardian, who is Captain America but with a sense of humor and a beer belly. Um, we we have John Walker, aka JV Captain America, the U.S.
Not
agent.
junior
We
varsity.
um,
we have
we have we have Ghost. I am forgetting her name, her real name, But we have Ghost, who was the villain of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Then we also have Taskmaster, who is the daughter of Admiral Dreykov. I forget her name. I think it was Antonia in the Black Widow movie.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's kind of a little bit of scuttlebutt going around about Taskmaster because you only see her in one scene and then you don't see her in any other parts. So people are saying that she dies off pretty early,
That's
which
silly.
sucks for Taskmaster, but whatever. And essentially they're coming together as a group, and from everything that I've seen from the trailers, like I kind of know the story. I'm not going to get too deep into the story, but it looks like they're coming together to try and wrangle or corral the Sentry. Lillian, do you know who the Sentry is? Who Marvel Sentry is?
That is no. That is a no. I do not know who the Sentry is.
All right, I'll give
Give you a quick. Oh, I thought that was a mouse. That was a squirrel outside my window.
It's a rat with a fluffy tail,
I mean,
but outside.
So the Sentry is essentially like Marvel's Superman. Some would say he's Marvel's Superman, but with DID. And unfortunately, his other personality is
dissociative something disorder.
dissociative
identity disorder.
Okay.
And essentially, his other personality happens to be a villain by the name of the Void.
That's hilarious.
The Void is a very, very terrifying character to the point where he ripped Ares in half. Him and the Hulk have gone toe to toe, and he's beaten the Hulk on an occasion. He's essentially the Sentry was given a serum that's 100 times stronger than it's supposed to be equivalent to the power of 100 suns. It was like a serum 100. They were trying, of course, they were trying to do a super soldier serum because that's what everybody's trying to do in Marvel. They're trying to repeat. Everybody wants their own Steve Rogers, and they happen upon this serum that makes him a crazy and powerful villain. A crazy powerful hero. But yeah, that's who the Sentry is. That's a little. I'm not to try and talk your head off, but that's a little bit of who the Sentry is. So, I'll say this about it. How do you feel about essentially all these people who just shoot and punch going up against this almost cosmic level being?
This is going to be great TV.
Yeah,
absolute cinema.
I mean, and so far, everything that I've seen, everyone seems to say good things about the early reviews of Thunderbolts. People are saying that this is Marvel's best. I saw one hot take, and this is very much a hot take. It said Marvel's best movie since Endgame. I'm like, wow. I feel like we're reaching a little bit. But
came.
Also,
Black Panther 2 was that? Never mind.
Listen,
I'm gonna be quiet.
And then also this guy's movie. I'm trying to point to it. This guy's movie. Everyone keeps saying that it wasn't that good.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear about who everyone is. Who is everyone?
White people. White people
were talking down about it because Captain America be a black guy. Well, if you dickheads have been reading comics for years, you know that Captain America
has been black for like a decade, right? Like decade, 15 years.
Exactly. You know. So I think also thank you for calling me out on that. I was doing my mainstream media thing and not really trying to not say what it is, but this is our show, and we're going to shoot you real. There's a lot of white people that have been talking down a lot of stuff that happens to be headed up by black heroes or just black people in general. You know what I mean? They got a lot of shit to say. They always tell us to go and make our own lanes and create our own this or do whatever it is. And once we do it, or once someone is palette swapped or changed into a person of color, then everything's a problem.
As soon as there is a non-white person at the lead for any reason, whether it's an original story or a retelling of an old story, people got problems. You about to read Sega Saturn?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like a sequel to Endgame. I mean, honestly, everything
technically everything
phase
is
4 and 5.
Technically everything is.
You know what I mean? Yeah, anything that has somebody dissolving and then coming back has been a sequel to Endgame. So I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, all of that shit is just been a sequel
Thor:
to
Love
Endgame.
and Thunder, Black Panther 2.
I'm sorry. I had a
Physical reaction. You said Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, because it was like while you were passed out yesterday, it was actually on the TV.
I'm glad I was passed out.
So I'm not watching that shit. Like I
Fair.
saw that movie. I saw that movie once, and I never need to see it again.
It was fun, but
No, it
also
wasn't.
I don't read the comics that like because all right, so it's the way you react to Thor: Love and Thunder, and this is a whole tangent. The way you react to Thor: Love and Thunder is about the same way I react to the X-Men films, and
So
I'll tell you this. No, I'll tell you this. So just focusing on Gore the God Butcher. Gore the God Butcher is one of the most terrifying villains in the history of Marvel.
and it was a sad
Gore,
Christian Bale.
right? And they turned him to Gore the God Inconvenience. You know what I mean? Like in the comics, he cuts off Thor's fucking arm. Like, and here it's just like, I'm gonna beat you and drip black shit off my teeth onto you. It's very unsatisfying. That's why I just don't like that movie. But getting back to the Thunderbolts, yeah, apparently Thunderbolts is supposed to be really, really good. So if you have the opportunity, if you're up to go out and see a movie, please go and check out Thunderbolts this week. And yeah, let's just keep on going until we get to Doomsday.
This coming week, yes.
yes, this coming Friday.
It's not there right now, but it will be 12 a.m. Friday, which is technically Thursday night, Friday morning.
Well, shit, and then
also, actually, I don't even know why they say Thursdays anymore because now they're releasing. I mean,
they do a Wednesday night release, yeah.
Yeah, they do like
it's like a Thursday afternoon release. Like you can go to the movie sometimes at 6 p.m. to see a movie, like the day before.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah,
accessibility.
Anyway, moving on to our next subject.
The Last of Us.
Yes,
The Last of Us. Oh wait, we didn't talk about. Wait. Before Last of Us, we didn't talk about the strategist strike on Rivals. This is just a fun side quest.
All
right. So in some gaming news, we've talked about Marvel Rivals several times on this show. Some of us play. Herb and Trey do something. I don't know what they do, but that's not playing.
I think Trey is still playing Dragon's Dogma. He likes slaying dragons. I respect the decision. But have I been on Rivals? I have absolutely been on Rivals.
I wish
that you could invade games like Skyrim or Dragon's Dogma because I would create a character and just troll the shit out of Trey. Anyway,
does it have? I think it does.
Like they invade, like you can invade characters on Dark Souls or Elden Ring. I want to be able to do that and just fucking grief Trey. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, there is a. What are the different levels?
All right, there are 3 different types of characters. There's vanguards, duelists, and strategists. Vanguards are what we would typically call a tank. Duelists are DPS, and strategists are your healer class. They are the only class that have the ability to heal other members of the team. It's not the only thing they do, but it's one of the things they do. And if you do not play strategist on Rivals, it's so toxic. These free-to-play like hero shooter games are so toxic. I just don't turn on the voice chat, but they're bad. Like they're ridiculous. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. What has been going on since Marvel Rivals first came out, is that strategists have had a hard-ish time between like toxic players, and devs keep messing with strategist stats like damage, healing, all that sort of stuff. And season 2, it got to a point where some internet freaking streamer was like, man, strategists have it so easy. It's the easiest subclass. And the strategists were like, you know what? I just don't think I'm going to do it no more. I'm going to do something else. You want to insta-lock DPS? I do too. Let's all do DPS. And that's what's been happening. And it's been kind of funny watching the stuff unfold between TikTok and Instagram. However, when I play, I don't necessarily see the strike, but I don't see people just hard charging DPS like they used to. It's a lot easier to, like, it's teams more often than not have at least one strategist before I hop on. Go ahead.
Essentially, with
About strategist, it turns the game into Call of Duty.
Yeah, dead ass.
So essentially, it's just Marvel Call of Duty. And you know, I have some feelings about like a lot of YouTubers or content creators on different games, and this goes across a bunch of different games. This goes for people that play Call of Duty. This goes for people that play Marvel Rivals. This goes for people that play Overwatch. This goes for people that play Apex Legends. If anybody's still playing that dead ass game
They
at this
do.
point,
They
and
do.
any type of any hero shooter or just shooter game, any type of competitive shooter, we have to stop investing in the things that these content creators say, or as as the Black Hokage says, stop listening to people whose chairs stink. Like they sit in their chair for 10 hours a day playing this game, and then they complain when they get in lobbies against other people who are competitor. The average age, the age of the average gamer is 34 years old. I don't know about everybody else. When I get off from work and maybe I go to the gym or do whatever else I got to do, if I come in and I boot up my system, I don't want to fucking sweat. I don't want to pull up another job. I don't want to sit here and grind away like I'm fucking 15 years old again. No, I just want to get on for some casual games. And a lot of these content creators, they go ahead and they say wild shit on the internet because this is their job. Also, they're in a state of arrested development, so they don't understand about teamwork or having to build things with the community or working with other people. So they make it all about them. Then they say these things, and then they influence, maybe these children that are playing or anybody else or people who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on 2K or some skin on Fortnite or whatever, and they create these metas and things like that, as opposed to people just getting on and having fun or playing competitively. You know what I mean? Like, just the funny thing about like when people create a meta video or when a content creator makes a meta video for a certain type of game, what they're not telling you is that most of the time there also is a skill level that comes with using that gun. You're not just gonna pick up that gun or that hero or whatever and just be good at it. You need to have some actual skill. You know what I mean? Like, Lillian, you've seen me play different games before. Like you actually have to have hand-eye coordination and the skill or be able to understand the tactics that you need to use. You're
For
not just
sure.
going to be able to pick up the meta to it. So I think people just need to get back to playing games and not listening to, again, shout out to the Black Okage, but listening to people who chair stink.
Um, I don't know. I don't have anything to really say after that. You shouldn't listen to the people on the internet too much, especially if it means it makes you a shittier person. The strategy strike is fun. I thought it was just a fun side quest. Like I thought it was like, oh, we all doing this shit? Hell yeah, let's get into it. So I've like, it's fun to watch people squirm. I'm never gonna get over that part of life. Um, and when people insta lock DPS and then they're like, oh, we don't have any healers. No, we don't. Imagine that. No, we don't. I'm a strategist main too. So it's just like, imagine that. Like all of a sudden I've stopped seeing a fuck ton of Jeff hate. It's insane. It's great. It's great. I love it here. And now I think a response to like just to put a foot on it, the dev's response to the strategist strike was to give strategists a buff so that they can survive the dive meta of the game right now. And that has been necessary for a long time.
Also, shout out to NetEase
For paying attention to their game and the social media conversation around their game. Like they're very transparent. So I'll give them that. I will say that they're very transparent. They pay attention to everything going on with their game, and they act pretty quickly. Unlike fucking Activision, that would just let fucking hackers run rampant on Call of Duty. There's no reason I'm getting sniped by somebody from under the fucking map, Activision. I'm sorry. I'm going to.
You just got triggered. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
We're gonna move.
We're gonna move on.
Into our next.
Now, Last of Us Season 2. Last of Us was an incredible game. I have not played it, but Rick has. He's played Last of Us 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. He's been watching the show avidly. Tell us about what's going on, Rick.
So, The Last of Us is a beautiful, horrifying, amazing, take in your heart and rip it right out of your chest game series. Essentially, the overall story of the game is revenge is bad. And don't be
Revenge is bad and don't be selfish.
Yep.
Well done.
and
Great synopsis.
Episode 2 of The Last of Us is essentially showcases something that made everyone hate The Last of Us 2, the game. Um, and spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, sorry, but
If you don't know, I know. You should
you're
know.
about to know. Right. So this episode was the death of Joel. Joel was the main character in the first game. That's who you played as. And he was the surrogate father to Ellie, who the show essentially is. The whole game has essentially been about is Ellie. But yeah, in this episode, he's killed by the character by the name of Abby. There were some changes from the game to the series about how they executed the death of Joel. In the game, Joel, it was way more graphic. You know what I mean? Like Ellie beat him with a golf club for God knows how long.
Ellie beat Joel in the second game?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Abby.
About to say, Joel. Like, I don't think after all. But anyway, Abby did it. Abby did it.
Abby beats Joel to death with the golf club. And a couple of changes from the game in the game when she starts beating on Joel. It's actually Joel and his brother Tommy. But on the show, Tommy is back defending the town of Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is the town that they've settled in. And it is Joel and a character by the name of Dina, who goes on to who kind of has a relationship with Ellie. Also, Abby doesn't tell Joel who she is or why she's doing this to him in the game, but in the show, she gives him a nice long monologue about who she is and why she's doing this. And just to fill everyone in, Joel kills a doctor in season 1. It's the doctor who is going to operate on Ellie because essentially Ellie is immune to the zombie virus. And they were going, and in order to try and create a vaccine for everyone, yes, and a vaccine or
whatever. I say anti-venom because whatever the fuck. I live in comic books. So I live in the world, so whatever. Go on. Antivirus / vaccine. Yeah.
They would have had
taken Ellie's brain and killed her, and Joel just couldn't deal with Joel, who already lost his daughter at the beginning of the outbreak, couldn't deal with losing another one.
So he killed the doctor.
He didn't just kill
the doctor. He killed 18
the whole team.
Soldiers. He killed 18 soldiers that were with the group called the Fireflies. And it just so happens that doctor happened to be Abby's father. And so Abby, who now is consumed with vengeance, she goes about finding Joel, and she killed him. And in the game, she beats him to death with a golf club. In the show, because she actually breaks the golf club on his face and then stabs him with the broken golf club.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's so I'm not perpetually online all the time, but I mean, I haven't seen as much blowback from the series as I have from the game. You know what I mean? The most complaints that I've seen about the series so far is that Abby isn't big enough, because in the game, Abby is like, all I can say, she's a hulking monster of a woman. Like
she's a muscle mommy, is what you're telling me.
Oh wait. No, she's Brock Lesnar with a ponytail.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like she is a hulking mass of a person in the game. And so and now she's a little bit smaller in the series, and that's one of the bigger complaints that I've seen. Ooh, got a comment.
From Crazy.
Yep. It says, to be fair, Abby's father caused his own death. All he wanted, I'm assuming, is all he wanted was Ellie. The doctor picked up the scalpel, and Joe was having none of that. All the other doctors lived. That is a really, really good point, Crazy. That is actually a really, really good point, because actually Joel really did just come, like, he wasn't going to shoot any of them, and then the doctor, like, he pointed the scalpel at Joel as if he was like, come take her. And I mean, he brought a scalpel to a gunfight, and Joel popped his top. So I mean, that is a really good point. But also, I mean, that speaks to the biggest story of The Last of Us. You know, like, we don't know if they would have actually been able to come up with an antivirus from Ellie's brain. You know what I mean? Because we all know science is about experimentation, and
it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee.
Right, exactly. But then also, I mean, for Joel to go on this rampage and to take out all of these people just for this one little girl, and it's like one little girl versus the fate of the whole world. You know what I mean? It's again, like I said, the theme of the game, the theme of the show is revenge is bad, guys. Please don't be selfish. When you act selfishly, even when you act selfishly out of even if it's coming from a place of love and you're acting selfishly, you know what I mean? You never know how the results of your selfish actions what are the ripple effects, how things could change, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then also, like I said, like revenge is bad, you know what I mean? Like so Abby kills Ellie's father, right? The only real parent that Ellie has known because her mom died giving birth to her. And so now it's about to send Ellie on. I believe I saw it. I saw somebody say it online. You're about to witness the crash out to end all crash outs as far as Ellie goes. Yeah, Ellie, like
I mean,
Ellie
I
is going
believe
to
it.
go. Ellie is about to go on one of those. Have you played the Uncharted games?
I feel like
Mhm.
we've had this discussion. No, no, I haven't.
All right. So that's funny. That's funny. Actually, oh, and that's another Naughty Dog. That's another Naughty Dog property. That's funny because Last of Us is Naughty Dog property. But I mean, essentially, Nathan Drake is known to be the the archaeologist mass murderer. And Ellie's about to put up numbers that are going to make Nathan Drake look like nothing, like just a regular guy or just a cop in New York. And so it's really really interesting, but also like I mean, we when
Again,
they say when you're going seeking revenge, you should dig two graves, one for the other person, one for the person that you're seeking out, and then one for yourself because it's never going to end the way we want it to end. Not going to spoil the end of the second game, but I mean, it's listen, there are about to be a lot of bodies. There are about to be a lot of people who it's not just Joel who is going to die that you're going to care about. There are going to be other characters that are going to drop.
Yeah.
There are going to be relationships that are going to be broken. And it's just it is a it's a beautiful story, but at the same time, it's incredibly tragic. One of the things about The Last of Us 2 that got to me um, and I didn't believe Neil Druckmann, who was the director of the game, when he said it, like before when they were doing like the pre-release videos of it. Every time you kill someone, you see the like you see the branches that you're clipping.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really really specific about that. Like you would kill someone, and then like there would be a flashback where you would have to interact with that person from another character who was close to them, and it's like
Mm.
oh my god, I just Jesus Christ, I just did this, or I just, you know, I'm hoping that the show is able to encapsulate that because that is one of the more powerful things I feel like a lot of people missed out on with The Last of Us 2 is how personal it felt and you know how tied to it also. Um, there's another thing that I hope that they include in this season, or at least because I know there are two more seasons of The Last of Us show, so we know we aren't going to get to the end of The Last of Us 2 this season. But I mean, there's one of the more horrifying, horrific enemies in the history of video games in The Last of Us 2. It is a creature called the Rat King, and they've kind of tied into it a little bit at the first two episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, Abby encounters this thing called the Rat King. The Rat King is basically a bunch of infected people who huddled together in a corner and fused into one big ass blob.
So it's the
If you
thing, the remake. That's what you're telling me. But zombie
um,
edition.
this was creepier than
the thing, and the thing is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. This
No,
is
because like,
if
do you know the remake I'm talking about?
the remake of what?
The Thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if
you
you
get a chance to, when we're done with this, probably go online and look at the Last of Us Rat King fight.
I don't know about
It'll creep.
that.
it's
Fine, just
You
listen.
say
Just
that
open.
I'm not the body gore is a sensitive topic for me. Like I can't watch a lot of things because of the body gore. Like I missed out on it the remake because body gore. I barely saw the first one and that was light compared to the remake. How does I
it's fine.
Just get a kitchen knife and just turn on the light and get a kitchen knife and you'll be fine. But no, so I'm very intrigued about where to go with The Last of Us season two.
Mhm.
So far, it's got me in. Because I knew what was coming about Joel. Like when Pedro Pascal initially took the role, I was like, this man really likes
Ah,
this man really likes dying on camera. But you know,
not entirely.
um,
You know, Prince Oberon doesn't count. It was the Game of Thrones. Everybody died, basically.
I never got into that.
What's the Game of Thrones?
Yes, you did. Oh, you know about it. I know you know about it. I know you didn't get into it, but you know about it.
No, I don't. I have no
I
idea.
deal with that show is.
Oh, you're
Hold the door.
lying.
Hold the door, please. Anyway, I was also this is off the subject, but also I was thinking about the day that I get married. I was going to have a red wedding. I don't know.
Ha ha
I kind of
ha.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I know
I'm
you
gonna move
are.
on.
I know
I'm
when
gonna,
you're pulling my leg. I know when you're pulling
no.
my leg.
I'm talking to the audience. I'm talking to the audience. You have to engage with the audience as well. But anyway,
They know you too. They know
um,
you better than I do.
No, these motherfuckers
don't know me. Anyway,
Okay.
moving on to our last and final topic. Make sure that you watch The Last of Us season 2. The newest episode should be dropping in about 2 hours on HBO, or if you have HBO Max. Anyway, moving on to our final topic. All right, this is something that I've been waiting to talk about for 2 weeks. Um, I actually went and saw this with the person who I'm currently on air with right now. And that is the movie Sinners. This is a Ryan Coogler joint. This is an original story. It's so far it has made close to $100 million if it hasn't already passed some $100 million. He has all movie studios scared because he actually owns the rights to the IP, which is amazing.
Fantastic.
and listen, if you talk to someone and all they identify this as is a horror or a vampire movie, they
Miss the point. This is one of the best movies I've seen in the last 15 to 20 years. This movie hits on so many different things, so many different topics, so many different genres, so many different areas. Just it was to steal a phrase from the kids. It was absolute fucking cinema. Like this was movie magic. This is if you ever heard anyone use that phrase, this is absolute movie magic. Um, I know how you felt about it, but Lillian, please describe the way you felt watching this movie.
All right. So after walking out of Sinners, and I still feel this way. The only way I can describe that movie is I can only describe that movie as perfect. I do believe it is the most perfect movie I have ever seen in my life, and I have seen many films from many countries, and I would still call it perfect. There isn't a single thing I would change about the film. There isn't like there isn't a wasted moment. There isn't a wasted sentence. It's very very closely knit together and edited very well. I have no notes. Have no notes for Sinners.
um
So I'm gonna say like one of the first things that I want to talk about as far as what the movie goes is the individual actors and their
Oh,
performances.
absolutely.
Starting at the top with the main character or the main characters, excuse me.
Yeah.
The man who essentially like other than Ryan Coogler's name, the man who's drawing people into the movie, and that's Michael B. Jordan. This is Michael B. Jordan at his peak superpowers. This is him just saying, "Hey, I'm an actor. I'm not an actor.
I
I'm an
feel
actor."
like it's accurate to call Michael B. Jordan an Omega level mutant when it comes to acting because I don't think we've seen his upper limit. I don't know if we're gonna see it, but I don't think we've seen it. And this was absolute cinema. Sorry.
I mean, no, you're absolutely fine, and I don't disagree with you on that. So for those of you that don't know, Michael B. Jordan plays the role of twin brothers Smoke and Stack.
Or the Smokestack twins.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times where I'm watching this movie and I'm like, I know that's the same person. I know for a fact that is the same person. But you couldn't tell me that those weren't two different actors. Those were two completely different personalities. They had different mannerisms. When sometimes when you have people playing like the same character in on a role, it's just like they kind of meld together, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, look
Mm-hmm.
at the CGI and look at that. But no, like they had different presences, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stack had a more like laid, like that gangster. He had that gangster vibe of I'm gonna laugh with you, I'm gonna joke with you, I may even get you a drink. I'm not gonna kill you, but I will if I have to. And whereas Smoke had the feel of, I'm not here to fuck around. I'm not playing with nobody. I will shoot you in the face if you short me. I will shoot you in the face if you look at me sideways. You know what I mean? And like, and I give all props to Michael B. Jordan for his ability to have those different type of gravitas with those different characters on the screen. Um, Next we have I'm gonna go with Haley Steinfeld, who plays Mary. Mary is the love interest of Stack. She is a
I'm gonna call her she's either a quadroon or an octoroon, which is a dated term. Don't get it fucked up. It is very dated, but she's like a quarter or an eighth black. She has like a black or partially black great granddaddy or granddaddy.
Yeah. Yes,
in real life. In real life, she has a actually her grandfather, not great. This is her grandfather who she just now met before this movie or preparing for this movie. She has a black grandfather who she met, and she plays the character Mary.
When Haley Steinfeld, I don't know that her. All right, so her mom is heavily Creole. Heavily Creole. Mm-hmm. Like she's not. She's like a lumpy. Like she's very mixed. Like so, there is black in there, but it's not just black. Right. Very Creole. Very Creole.
She's very gumbo.
She's very, very much gumbo.
I got nothing else to say.
No, but she plays Mary. And Mary her mom is half black, and you know she was in love with Stack, and she, you know, Stack like pushed her away because you know he saw it was more future of her. It was more for a future. She had more of a chance of a future of leaning into being white as opposed to staying with him and being black and being who she was, you know what I mean? Which is an actual real thing that happened back in those days, in the 1930s.
Especially white passing white lady. Oh no. You do not touch them. Yes. You do not touch them.
They would actually be pushed into a life of being white. And you know, and then sometimes in most instances, if their white husband were to find out that they were black or had some black in them, they would actually kill these people or kill these women and like in horrendous ways, you know what I mean? So again, but that's the beautiful thing about a Ryan Coogler movie is like he'll pull things from history that aren't really talked about or aren't really reiterated, you know what I mean? And like he puts them into the movie so that you're forced to kind of confront the history of what has taken place, what is happening. But getting back to Haley Steinfeld's performance,
10 out of 10.
I didn't know about her having that type of lineage, the octoroon.
Is that how you said it?
Octoroon is like an eighth. Quadroon is a quarter. Harry and the Henderson her in another movie.
I don't get that reference. I haven't seen
I don't understand
since I was like 8.
I don't know what that is. Sorry, PBC. Yeah. I'm ignorant to that one.
Expand on that.
Expand on that when you get the opportunity, for sure.
Right. But no, so yeah. I mean, she killed. She also killed it as well. You know what I mean? Like she channeled every bit of that. In her whole performance.
Every bit. It was the funniest thing I've seen in such a long time. Because she was like, I'm just the same as all y'all other people in here, and it's like, baby, according to the one drop rule that was in fact in action at the time, yes, but at the same time, no. Most people look at you and think you're not black. Go ahead.
My favorite
interaction from her is when she comes to the juke joint and Sammy talks to her and he's like, I'm with the twins. And she goes, you with the twins? Boy, if you don't get the fuck out my face, I was like, ooh. Like, that felt very familiar. It felt like I've heard that before.
It's a dumb joke. Please Google the end of Harry and the Hendersons. Bet will do. Will do.
Got you. But no,
and speaking of Sammy, we have what's his is
Miles Convoy? Conway? It's something with a C. Let me just go ahead and talk. I'll look up his name.
So this is unbelievably, this is his first acting role. This is one of the more powerful singing voices I have ever seen in a movie. And not just his singing voice, but then also his ability to embody this character. He plays Sammy, who is the cousin of Smoke and Stack, who also they gave him a guitar. I'm not going to go into detail about the guitar, but they gave him a guitar, and essentially he's becoming a young blues. He's learning how to play the blues and sing the blues. And yeah, like again, all of the performances in this movie are just magnetic. You know what I mean? Like they
Mm-hmm.
draw you into their characters. You feel like you know these people and you want to support these people and who they play. And it's just right on part. Like he's right there with Michael B. Jordan. He's right there with Haley Steinfeld in their performance. He's right there with everybody in this movie. As far as like what he's putting on film, what he's putting on celluloid, and it's just another amazing character that is just that Ryan Coogler, you can tell, just wrote with care. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What the all right, so the weird sound was the little cup warmer that I have on my desk turned itself off and beeped to let me know. I was just looking up the cast so I would have the names ready if we started going down the list. We just talked about his name was Miles Caton. That's Sammy, Lil Sammy in the movie, who isn't that little, but he's their little cousin. So Lil Sammy it is, a preacher boy. You were just talking about who did you say after that?
I hadn't gone on
You
that
hadn't
person.
moved off
But
of Sammy yet? All
No,
right.
but you can go ahead.
move on. You can go ahead and move on to
All
the other
right.
cast members.
So Sammy, like you said, fantastic, both in acting skill and just the soulful, soothing sounds of his voice. He picked up the guitar specifically for this film. He did not play the guitar before this film. I'm gonna go through the main cast. We have the actor for Remick, who is Jack O'Connell.
Mm-hmm. So real quick,
Quick, just
Yeah,
a little diatribe about Jack O'Connell. So he is of Irish descent, and he actually used to do some Irish singing and the
he
Irish
used to
folk
do
dancing.
the Irish dance. I forget what it's called, river dance or some shit.
yeah, he had
To tap back into that, and he was like, I believe there's a cast interview where he said he was living his best Beyonce life
Yes,
on
he
the
did say
set,
that.
and he
He
thought
did
he
say
really
that.
felt like he was an actual singer. And so that yeah, like I mean, listen, and I was never really a fan of like Irish folk music or Irish folk dance, but like the scenes where he's singing and dancing, I was just like, well, shit. Maybe if more vampires were Irish and did Irish folk dance and folk outside of my house, maybe I might let him in. You know what I mean? It might be worth it
Mm-hmm.
because that's they were dancing a little jig. But anyway, moving on.
Um, Jack O'Connell was in his bag. He was reaching in his bag for this film. And it was an old bag, but it was his bag. Who else? We already talked about Haley Steinfeld. Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim.
listen.
We have our favorite black actors. We have those actors who those older actors that we all hold in regard. Um, Delroy Lindo is somebody who I feel like doesn't get the respect and love that he deserves.
Does not.
Because he's been doing this forever, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't remember a bad Delroy Lindo performance ever.
I couldn't tell
Like
you.
I've seen a lot of movies. I've seen a lot of fucking movies, y'all. And every movie that I've seen Delroy Lindo in, I love him in it. From him being in what's the movie with the monkeys? Damn it, I forgot the
There's
name
so
of
many movies
he.
with monkeys in it. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I know I'll remember this tomorrow at like 5 p.m. randomly.
You're
But
gonna wake up out
oh,
of a sound.
Congo. This movie called Congo. He makes an appearance in Congo, and like he steals the whole scene there. The movie The Five Bloods, which is one of Chadwick Boseman's last performances. Delroy
Mm.
Lindo's character makes you is both an asshole and sympathetic at the same time. Like you feel for him. What else? Just anything that he's in, like anything that Delroy Lindo has appeared in, is going to be amazing. And this is just another one of those performances that you can just throw right there on top of it. It was absolutely amazing.
Crazy just said the movie and stopped eating a sesame
Eating
cake.
my sesame
Get
cake.
out.
That was actually him yelling at Tim Curry, which is amazing.
That's
Tim Curry played a
hilarious.
racist.
Um,
Next person.
who else? Wunmi Mosaku, who played Annie.
Yes. Who played Annie?
Who um listen, I got a whole diatribe about Christianity and hoodoo and As far as like we as black people go in this country, not gonna get into
Oh,
that because this ain't that type of stream. But
we there's so much. All right, so Sinners, it has an amazing cast because you have Preacher Boy, Annie, Smoke and Stack by Michael B. Jordan. You have Pearline, the lady who played Pearline. You got Delroy Lindo playing Delta Slim. Hold it, I'm going through the list. The Chinese actors, Lee Jun Lee, and I think his name was like Yao.
Joe.
Bo Chow
Oh,
is
Bo.
his actual name is Yao. Yao. That's his actual name. And Haley Steinfeld, who came together and really put this film on. And then Ryan Coogler's writing in this film is just there's so much messaging, there's so many messages to unpack and digest, and it's cinematically just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. The sound scoring, visually stunning. The writing is strong as fuck, and the acting talent is out of this world.
I mean, something that
I feel like we have an issue with in a lot of movies nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I see pacing. This movie was paced
So
beautifully,
well,
but
because it
like
drew
it
you
just
in with the background before you got into the vampires. And like when people call this a horror, I'm confused because that's not my association with it. Like yes,
right.
there's vampires, there's guts, there's gore, there's shit like that, but it's about much more than just vampires. The vampires are an afterthought almost. Well, that's too strong of a word, but it's not the main theme. There's other things to unpack.
I would call this
movie a cultural experience.
Mm.
Like it was almost a cultural smorgasbord. You know what I mean? Like an issue with black people with black people in this country is we don't understand or know our true culture, our true lineage. You know what I mean? And there are a lot of things that if you do some research, if you do some checking, if you read a couple things, you begin to find out who it is and who we are and what we come from and who we are of, who we are of. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And all of that things. And that's why I appreciate Ryan Coogler because he puts our culture in everything. Every
Mm-hmm.
film that he directs, every movie that has come out, he puts our culture in it, and it's there on display, and it's there for us to go and research and find out more about. And that's why I appreciate his movie so much. Um, it the juke joint scene in this movie where Preacher Boy, where
Outstanding.
Sammy starts singing and starts playing,
My
God, my God, that's going to go down as one of the best scenes in the history of movies. Like
Yeah.
it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It's just the incorporation of the different elements, the different cultural elements as we move around the room and all the things that's going on. Just the movie as a whole, there's so many different dynamics that are happening and that are going and that are just being interwoven. And then this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and we can whatever we can go whatever. The thing that put this movie over the top for me, and you saw this interaction because you're sitting there. When I'm sorry, I'm gonna go into some real detail, like I'm gonna describe the whole thing. When Smoke kills the KKK,
Yes.
I said
It was
audibly
a
out
Grand
loud,
Duke,
I
wasn't
said,
it?
"This, huh?"
Grand Wizard? Was it who? What was he? Because he had some sort of title in the KKK.
he was the Grand Wizard.
He
He
was
was
the
a Grand
Grand
Wizard.
Wizard.
But I look
I sat up and I said, "This is my favorite movie of all time." And a black dude who was sitting a seat away from me, he looked at me and gave me a fist bump and said, "Exactly." Um,
when Smoke
like I mean, he dissected them. Like he had a Browning automatic rifle, he had a Thompson submachine gun, and a grenade. And when I tell you he did the work of God, he did the fucking work of God. And that I feel like most movies should have any black movie should have a closeout scene like that, especially nowadays in this age. Maybe we can do a modern film and you can have him do it to the Proud Boys. Yes, I said it, or to the Patriot Front or whatever those douchebags in khaki pants and blue shirts and always running around in fucking white shiesties. But yeah, like this movie is so amazing, and y'all like listen. We showed up for Black Panther, we showed up for other stuff. We need to continue to show up for this. If you've already seen it, go see it again. I plan on going to see it at least 2 more times before it leaves the theaters. Yes,
Yeah,
I said
I
that.
need to see it in IMAX again. I need to see it in
Yes,
IMAX again.
yes, absolutely. I need to go to a true IMAX theater because they're giving away celluloids of it. Like I don't know. Yeah, they actually giving away film strips. I don't know. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, please go out and support this movie. Like, we need to run them numbers up even
I
more.
just really quickly, since you've said what you're gonna say, I feel like it is my sovereign duty to let y'all know that the cunnilingus jokes in this movie, the cunnilingus information, is probably the most unexpected diamond that I saw just walking into the theater. Was it Stack? Was it Stack?
Yes.
Stack
Yes.
gave
It was
Sammy
Stack talking to
an
Sammy.
like a hip pocket PME on how to eat coochie. That shit was hilarious. And we come in at the middle where he's towards the end. Like he's just finished explaining it, like explaining the beginning part, but you catch up like dead ass catch up, pick up in the middle of the conversation and ends. And next thing you know, Sammy's trying to get under somebody's skirt. And it's crazy work. Funniest. There's so much that talks about oral sex specifically for women. And I'm just like here, like doing the Lord's work, honestly. Just doing God's work out there, honestly.
If
I see one more, I just want to taste your meme that has been made from that scene. I'm gonna lose my shit. But again,
why are you gonna lose
like
your shit?
that's an
offline conversation. Yeah, like this movie has everything.
It has
and
so
like Lillian
much.
said, it legitimately is the perfect movie. Like in my opinion, my humble opinion, which ain't too humble, it is the perfect fucking movie. And I will be adding this to my Blu-ray, DVD,
Oh,
whatever.
absolutely,
Whatever.
beyond the shadow of a
This
doubt. Whatever
also,
the high res in depth DVD release of this shit is, and if it gets a director's cut, I'ma get it. I'ma get it. It's gonna be in my collection. Go ahead.
This is not a digital. This is not a digital download, y'all. This is a physical media. This is one that you need to own. This is one you're gonna have to go to Best Buy because we don't do Target, we don't do Walmart. This is one you're gonna have to go to Best Buy and buy the actual physical copy of. Like
you need to own this one.
Bet.
So,
yeah, definitely see Sinners if you haven't already. My background in film and media and whatnot, I'm studying strategic communication now. I have a background in animation. That's the first college degree I attempted to get. So I have been looking at studying and trying to understand a lot of film media. So when I say something's perfect, I'm not saying that lightly. I'm saying that very intentionally. I've watched a lot. I've seen a lot. I have my favorites. This blew all of them out the water. All of them. Not even close. So definitely see it if you get the chance. If you are you're a movie collector, you're building up your hard copy collection again, this is definitely something to add to it. I think that's about it. I think that's about it.
We've been going for an hour and 18 minutes.
Yeah, we can chill now.
Right. So, Lillian, let the people know where to find you and what your social media handles are.
Y'all can find me just about anywhere on the internet by the title of Lillian Des, or Lillian LILLIANDESU. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter when it existed. It's technically still exists, but I'm not there no. I'm not. It's been a long time since I posted on Twitter or checked out the app. Blue Sky, all that jazz. So if you look up Lillian Des, I'm probably there. Lillian _Des if Lillian Des doesn't pull me up. But yeah, that's how you can find me on the internet. Rick, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me
everywhere and nowhere. My Instagram and Blue Sky are just Rick Williams 83. You figure out where the underscores go. You can catch me here weekly on Gamma Blurs, and then you can also catch me on the Thirsty Thursdays Wrestling podcast. A couple hours ago, we just finished recording our WrestleMania recap. Me and Mr. Petty himself, Kamau. We had a bunch of different guests on this episode. It's going to be a two-parter. We've been on there for a while. So if you feel like you want to go back to WrestleMania and redigest it just through our eyes and our crazy ass takes, I promise you there are a lot of crazy ass takes. And also there's some Shamik Moore slander in there for those of you
who
like Shamik Moore slander. We were all over the place. We were joined by Goddess of the Odd. We were joined by D from Three Black Geeks. AJ from Hip Hop Vibes podcast. Herb was on there, but he couldn't be on here today. And of course, Trey flaked out on us like he always does.
Stop.
So, but please go and check that episode when it comes out this Thursday. Anywhere that you can find podcasts, just type in Thirsty Thursdays Wrestling Podcast or TT Wrestling Podcast. You know what I mean? That's me again. But those are the places you can find me. And until next week, peace.
All right, later, guys. Also, if you want, I don't know if you're interested, but we do have a Discord, so if you want to hop in there, it should be in our link tree. And if it's not, I'll make sure it's in our link tree later. But that's it. We'll see y'all next week, unless, hell or high water comes and we have to stop. But we'll see y'all next week. Bye.